I am Doug Friedman.
And I am Meredith Levy.
And this is Your Mental Breakdown,
the podcast.
And on this podcast, you will hear a real session with a real client in real time, almost real time.
From us, two licensed therapists.
And we will come on at the end and break it down for you so you get to understand what was going on, what we're thinking. Well, what I was thinking. Meredith, you weren't there, but
no.
I'm sure you have thoughts.
I have many.
It's Thanksgiving right now.
It is. I know. That is crazy. And it's also like non-Thanksgiving because, I don't know, 2020 sucks.
You know what I did with a couple clients this week is I've done an exercise with clients where we name 5 things we're grateful for, and I give them homework like every week, do your 5 gratefuls, like say 5 things you're grateful for, write it in a journal, say it to your partner, something like that. So this week I was like, you know what, let's do 5 hatefuls and 5 gratefuls.
Nice.
So naming 5 things that you're frustrated about, pissed about, hate the world about, whatever it is. We take it for granted that we're just all in this pandemic and we can't stand it. But actually naming it sometimes takes a little pressure off, I think.
Yeah. Also, I think it's okay to, people are like, how are you? I'm like, good. I mean, I'm really grateful. I have my work and whatever. And the truth is like, I'm allowed to complain without giving the caveat that also I'm grateful.
Right. In normal conversation, yeah, we totally do that. The listing the things, like remembering that there are things we're grateful for is important. And remembering that there are things that we're not so grateful for right now that pretty much suck.
100%.
I think verbalizing that is so important.
I like that. 10 hateful and 10 grateful, or 5 hateful and 5 grateful. That's good.
Yeah. Balance it out a little bit.
Yep.
It's funny. I'm hateful and grateful for turkeys. I'll tell you why.
Do tell.
Most mornings here, the gobble gobble wakes us up at like 5:30 in the morning. We can hear turkeys walking up and down the hill behind the house I'm staying at.
Real turkeys?
Real turkeys, real wild turkeys here on the mountain. And if I open the back door for Beckett, he will run and chase them up the hill. It's kind of cute. I don't think he'd ever catch one. And if he did, I don't think it's like, he's not going to grab it and try to bring home Thanksgiving dinner for us.
But if he did, I mean, that's just sort of the cycle of nature, right?
I guess so. Yeah, sure.
Right? I mean, he might get pecked by it to death, but who knows?
Well, here's what really tripped me out is the other day from the front of the house to the back of the house, I saw this little group of turkeys. I don't know what they're called. A gaggle? A flock? What do you call turkeys?
A posse?
Posse. Sure. Why not? We'll go with a posse. I saw this posse of turkeys flying over the house.
What?
Look at your face. Yeah, I didn't know turkeys could actually fly. Not only could they fly, they were hauling ass. Like they flew fast. Like it really made me doubt if they were turkeys for a second.
I feel like turkeys are super bottom heavy, no?
The tasty ones are. I don't know. But I did have to go in and like search it online and go, can turkeys fly? Like wild turkeys fly? Yes, they fly short distances, not long distances, and they can fly up to 50 miles an hour.
No fucking way.
That's what it says.
Hold on. How do turkeys get killed then? How do so many turkeys get slaughtered for Thanksgiving if they could fly away at 50 miles an hour?
I don't know. We could take this turn and go, because they're very trusting of humans.
Or we could say because they probably get their little wings clipped or something. Sad turkeys. Speaking of turkeys and sad and killing animals, I have rats in my house. I just want to say that out loud.
Ugh.
I feel a lot of shame because I feel like it's something I did, even though I know it's not. I heard the little like in my wall and I was like, what the fuck is that? And then I heard a little or something like that. And I was like, this is not normal.
Those are the rat noises.
Yeah.
I can see that on the little like nursery school wheel. Like the cow goes moo, the rat goes.
But I was positive. I was like, it's mice. I have mice in my house. So called the rodent guy. He came out. He's like, yep. He's like, I can see the droppings. And I was like, gross, dude. Like he went in the attic and then And I was like, mice? And he's like, no, rats. I'm like, mice? It's like, no rats. And then he came back. He had to set traps, which, by the way, he's carrying out a jar of Skippy peanut butter with him, creamy. And I was like,
for the rats, or that he's just eating?
For the rats.
Okay.
And I was like, no cheese? And he's like, and it's like those old school out of a cartoon, like those traps. And so I'm like,
snap shut.
Yeah. So then he comes back like a few days later, checks that. He's like, oh, well, yeah, we got 2 of them. And I'm like, dude, please just take that and go. And he has to come back every week. Anyway, I feel sad because I'm sad that they're dead, but I wish they weren't in my house.
They're vermin. Talk about the cycle of life.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess. Wild turkeys and rats, man. Watch your back.
So yeah, anyway.
And then you're taking off. Well, actually, you've already taken off by this point. You are in Tahoe right now. Yes,
I am. Will be.
Wait a second. Hang on. Let me figure out my days of the week. I think if it's Thursday, it is snowing in Colorado, in Boulder right now.
Nice.
I mean, not right now when we're recording this, but in a couple of days on Thanksgiving, it will be snowing.
Yeah. By the time this comes out. Yeah. Ooh, pretty. Well, yeah, I'll already be back in LA by then, but.
Oh, so your Thanksgiving is here. So you're here again.
Yeah, my Thanksgiving here.
Well, not here, there.
I'm back here. Yeah.
Right.
I've been in Tahoe in between. Anyway, speaking of here again.
Here we are again.
What do we have coming up?
Ooh, we've got some good stuff coming up. We have been talking about the wedding coming up, and Drew's been kind of looking at his own career and what he's doing and doing some stuff, but I think nothing too groundbreaking. It's just, another day in the life.
Let's break it down after we listen to it, shall we?
That's right, we shall. We'll see you, hear you, talk to you in a minute.
We'll be back.
I'm learning this new mentality of like, what do I want to do?
What you want to do? Like, what do you mean by that?
I think what I mean by that is like prerequisite feelings of all of that was like, I need to be a certain way. I need to hide certain things. I need to show things more so here and like that.
For them, right? Catering to them, for them. Yeah. Okay. All right.
And so this is kind of giving me a little bit more clarity.
Maybe allowing myself to feel what I want to feel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some strength in that.
I wrote it down. I had a thought the other day too, kind of along all of this of like, instead of telling people what they want to hear, tell people what you want to say. Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, really like, I was just driving in the car and I was like, oh shit. Yeah. I like that one a lot. Cause it kind of like refocused my perception on always trying to like tell people what they want to hear and have something to offer them. Yeah. And to who do I want them to see me as? And so that kind of switched a lot too. And that was a couple of days ago. Who do you want them to see you as? I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I think we got the vulnerability down and being open to that. And I think now I'm trying to figure out like the adventure part of what does that look like for me? Because like adventure for me is kind of extreme. And so I'm trying to like pull that back a little bit, right? And not feel like I need to go out and stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning to feel an adventure. Right. And I need to be okay with going home at 11. And look, adventure seems to kind of connote like that out there doing something that's amazing, that's fun, it's exciting. But adventure can just be, what's the experience here? There can be an adventure when you're sitting in a class. It might be a boring adventure, but it's still an adventure. It's just being present for that experience and allowing that instead of like getting to the end of the thing. Exactly. Right. And I'm trying to enjoy the journey again. Yeah. And it's funny. So in the book I'm reading, it's talking about adventure and how this guy basically went on a camping trip with him and his buddies, and they're all men's men ready to go. Like, let's go on this adventure. And then they talked about getting out there and looking at their gear and what they brought and how manly they were. Right. And he's like, all we brought was a whistle. And he was like, that's our like self-defense of if we get in trouble, we're going to blow the whistle. Almost puts in perspective for me too, is like one man's adventure could be out hunting a bear with his own 2 hands, and the other one could be sitting in a campfire with a whistle. And so I'm trying to figure out where I want to be kind of in that. Well, and here's a key. Who is it that you want people to see, right? What do you want to present to them? Right. I want it to be more authentic, more adventure, more present.
I don't want it to be what they want to hear anymore. So, when we say, well, how do you want them to see you?
Yeah.
I want them to see me as me.
Absolutely. And I think, with more time, I'm getting that. It's coming. I can feel it. I don't know why this kind of brought this thought up, but wedding-wise, brother,
yes,
he hits me up a couple of days ago and he's like, hey, do you want to be an usher in the wedding? So I was like, okay. In my adventure, thought process of like, what does this look like? Where do I want it? I was like, okay, yeah, first, instantly was like, yeah, I'm down. Like, whatever you need, I got you. And so I thought about it and I was like, are you being kind to be kind or are you being kind to manipulate the situation? And I was like, whoa, hold up. And so I took a step back from that and I was like, am I being kind to my brother because I want him to have a good wedding? Or am I doing it to manipulate my own situation in this and feel a part of it? Why am I doing this?
They're not mutually exclusive. Both those things could exist. It could be mutually beneficial.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It is for him and it is for me. It doesn't have to be the black or white one or the other.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I saw it too. I see him trying to reach out and get me to be a part of it, how he can, whatever that looks like, which is that makes me feel wanted. It makes me feel really good about it. But this is the first time he's really reached out in a real way where he directly contacted me about something.
Yeah.
Which I think is a huge step.
Have you talked to him at all? Okay.
No, he called me on Saturday.
Called you?
Yeah.
Didn't text you?
He called me first. We texted, but he called me. I don't even think I was busy. I just didn't answer it. I just didn't want to.
I like the honesty there. I wasn't really prepared to. I wasn't in the right mindset. I didn't have my thoughts organized.
Yeah, and I think it was, I had no idea what it was about. I just saw his phone number pop up and I was like, it's probably nothing. If he really needs me, he can text me type of mentality. Right. I didn't feel like I needed to call him back. I didn't feel like I wanted to call him back.
Yeah. I'm going to dig into this a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I love this. Yeah.
Yeah. You see my wheels turn.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go back a little bit to something you said a while back. And it's along the same lines as trying to be organized and trying to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to write him a letter.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever write it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling about, because when we talked about it way back, you were like, yeah, I want to write a letter. I'll organize my thoughts. Then I'll know what I want to say because I can't call him cold because I don't know what I want. So that desire to write the letter or what that meant for you, but where are you with that now?
I want to throw that in the camping thing. I think the letter was gear for me to allow me to be like, okay, now I feel prepared. I think I'm going a little bit more Green Beret now. Yeah. And let me credit the last month for that of really allowing myself to be on my own and figure out what this wedding now looks like. And now I think sitting here today, right now in this moment, I feel a lot more comfortable not writing a letter, not having to go into the wedding, already have that. Yep. I'm actually really happy I didn't write him a letter because I think that would have added a little bit, that would have been too much for him emotionally. And
what about the process for you? Because remember I said to you, it's not about sending him the letter.
I think the process would have helped. It still can help. I think that's going to help me be organized on what I want to say, if anything, at the wedding. I don't even think I want to have that kind of conversation with them there. And I think that's kind of allow me to kind of see that on paper and kind of touch points that I do want to talk about. I'll stay away from that. If that does get brought up, okay, I'm prepared now.
Honestly, you might not even write it.
Right.
Honestly, we might verbally write it right now. It's organizing my thoughts. It is, like you said, a little more camping gear, right? Mm-hmm. So when you saw his name pop up on your caller ID.
I don't have his name saved.
You're shitting me.
Mm-hmm.
So you just saw the phone number. You recognized it.
Oh, I know his number by heart. Yeah.
Right. How come, you smile when you said, I don't have his number saved.
I don't know why I smile about it. I think that's almost a defense mechanism more than anything. I never have. I've always memorized his number, so I never felt the need to. You got to get close to get your number saved on my phone.
For me, the wheels spin about, okay, everybody that gets close leaves. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to get close. I don't want to put their names in there because they might leave. If I put a random 10-digit number in and then we break up, fine, the 10 digits are gone. But if I put that girl's name in there, then it means something. And then I'm attached to it. And then it might leave me.
Yeah, and I think seeing his actual name come up is completely different than his phone number.
Might be making it more real. If you see the number, it's just this call coming in from this place. If you see his name, it's, oh, this person that's been in my life this way. We had this history. We've done this together. It carries a lot more of a story with it.
Yeah.
So it might be a protective mechanism for you, conscious or unconscious, of going, yeah, I don't want to see that. I mean, you could alter his name. I've clients that have done this too. Like you could name him brother I'm trying to reconcile with. Right now, you're keeping a calculated distance from that.
Yeah.
And it's protective. I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be reminded of when I was hurt. You said you got to be real close to me for me to put your name in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy. I haven't thought about this in 10 years probably. But when my mom was really going through her shit when I was like 15, 16, I changed her name on my phone to her real name.
Real as opposed to mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this obviously is something bigger than me not just saving his number.
I can't tell you how many people have been in here and like, yeah, I blocked her number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took him out of my phone. He can't. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Sometimes we need or want to do that to protect ourselves. I think the true mark of us when we're truly processed with something, when we're not, I don't want to say over it, when we're not as triggered by it, as triggered, because we're always going to be a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Is when, sure, I can see his name and just, okay, that's who's calling.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I'm not going to block their number. If they call me, I can pick it up or not.
And that's exactly how I feel like old girlfriend. Because I did block her and like I just couldn't see her. I couldn't deal with it. I was like, I just can't. And now it's like, she called me the other day. And I was like, yeah, I don't really want to talk to you.
Right.
You know, so like, I think I need to give him that now. I need to work on myself in that same sense. Because I didn't even realize that it was a subconscious like thing. And now that I realize it's like, oh shit, okay.
There's something liberating that might happen to you.
Yeah.
And it's not just liberating being free. It's more integrating. It's more taking these pieces that are floating out there and bringing them into me and being okay with it. It's work to have all these different numbers floating around, all these different like things. It's protecting yourself. You're putting up that wall, that security, that force field.
Yeah.
You can't get in here. I'm safe. I'm keeping you at arm's length. I'm keeping you over there. Then I know who I am and I'm okay. So if I see his number pop up, yeah, that's my brother. I know who I am. I don't know what he wants, but okay, we'll pick it up and see.
Yeah.
For you, somewhere in your head, there's still a sense of, no, we need to talk about why we haven't talked. And so we need to have that conversation, right? You don't have to have it every time his number pops up.
And I think that little Drew wants to have that conversation.
Yes.
I don't think Big Drew needs to have that conversation. I think he wants to, but I think little Drew needs that.
So what can we say to little Drew about that?
I would say just give it time. Yeah, I think just having like a good, genuine conversation. Just start.
Okay, but I'm scared. I don't know how it's going to go.
But a guy once told me where there's fear, there's courage. So it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. You're going to be scared.
There you go. That's the compassion piece.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can be scared. You can have a defense. That's okay.
Yeah, and I'm doing that today. The I'm scared, but it's okay.
The sense I'm getting from you is, and you're in it.
Yeah.
And you're having the adventure. You're going with it. And you know, I think it will be okay. It doesn't feel okay now, but I know it will be. Yeah. Right? Shaking your head, then not. Right? So I know you're with me on this because you're saying it.
For sure.
And it's so cool because this is absolutely what your individual growth is about.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's when you first started talking about going out on your own, you hadn't quite done it yet.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you were saying?
Not really. I think I was excited and kind of like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
That kind of thing.
Do you remember who you called?
Probably my dad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Remember what you were saying to him?
Not really.
I want your support.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I totally support you. And you were like, no, you don't get it.
Partner.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And we talked about that being the safety net. Right? And it's the scariest thing. It's like riding the bike with the training wheels and then the training wheels come off, but like dad's still holding the back of the bike, right? You know, it's okay. And then you're grooving along and then all of a sudden you kind of turn around and you're like, fuck, dad's way back there. Holy shit. And you know, maybe you fall, maybe you don't, but you've been doing it.
Yeah.
I think you're learning that. You're experiencing that now. You know, you even forgot. And I love that. You were like, Oh, that's right. Yeah. I said partner to that.
Yeah.
You don't need a partner right now.
Right.
You're doing it. You might need some organization, some support, and you'll put that in place. But you're doing it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be okay. Because like, I think my safety net's shifting too. I found a lot of safety financially in my parents.
Right.
I still have that same, I want to call it anxiety, that nervousness of I need to go do something. I need to go make money. I need to go. Whereas before, like that safety net kind of took that out of that. And now that I have a lot of time on my hands and kind of doing what I want to do when I want to do it, it's definitely motivating me, but it's also hindering me to an extent of trying to figure out what that new space is. Because I think that's where the team comes into play.
Right.
I think now I need that emotional safety net, not a tangible, financial, materialistic one.
What you're describing in a sense is I'm making the shift from being dependent to trying to be independent. I can still have some financial interdependence.
Right.
Parents can help me out. I want to be self-sufficient, be my own thing, do my own thing. And that might take a little time to grow. But I feel that safety in that I know I'm going to be okay. What do I need around me? Who are my people around? What's going to feel supportive now? What kind of support do I want? It's putting that together and figuring that out on your own with your chosen support. Not your safety net training wheels.
I feel like for me, the difference would be safety net. I'm so dependent on it that I can't break away from it.
Right.
Whereas like the support team allows me to do what I need to do.
Right.
And supports it from the back end.
It's looking at really what do I need right now?
Yeah.
And sometimes I need that safety net to be there so I know it's there. That's that we've talked about it before, the reassurance, whether it's financial or emotional, like, cool, okay, I got that.
Yeah. And to throw this back into wedding, safety net was my first thought when I was like, yeah, I'll do the usher. Because now I go from hanging with my parents and friend to being in the ushers.
I have a job to do.
Well, by myself though, kind of breaking me out of that. Okay, you can't go kick it with them. You have a job to do,
right? Which
is motivating and allows me to kind of take that step. But it's also definitely a big fear. And I know I'll be okay. I'm still really looking forward to it. But it's just kind of like changing.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to change again before we get there.
When your eyes are lighting up, why?
Yeah, because again, like I don't have to be an usher. I don't have to do any. I can go and kick it in the back and do what I want to do, and that's cool. But I mean, day one we talked about it. Like I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of a family, and like I've always wanted this, and now it's kind of like at my footsteps, and like now it's my opportunity to kind of do it.
You're an usher for the ceremony. Yeah.
I don't even know what an usher is. Well, I've never been to a wedding. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, you know what an usher is, right?
Yeah, I like see people.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, you guys sit on that side. You guys sit on that side.
Yeah.
That might be it. If there's an old lady, you help her to her seat. But
which I love. I love that.
Right. And it's really just like, oh, we're the ushers. We have some level of prominence in this person's life, so that's why we're doing this.
Well, and it's not so much where I have to stand up there with them, because that was way too much for me. And I was like, I don't want to be a groomsman. I don't want. Right. But this is like a happy medium where it's like I'm still a part of it.
And it's I want you to be involved, and that's on him.
Mm-hmm.
He wants you to be involved.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that says something pretty big. We have no idea. Who knows how he'll see some of the choices in childhood that you guys made? Mm-hmm. You were both kids. Right. So your perspectives are different. His perspective right now is I'm getting married soon. Talking about our past and all that. That's not on it. It might be on his mind somewhere, but he's like, no, I just want my brother involved. Like, and the not knowing, the uncertainty can be really uncomfortable. It can also be liberating. That relax, nothing's under control.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know for sure, all the facts that I know, he asked me to be an usher. I can. Mm-hmm. We haven't had a real talk, and now might not be the time for real talk, but can I just be present for the experience, adventure of being there?
Yeah.
Whatever that is. We're getting there. Like you said, you're moving more towards that side, but we still have that fear. And like you said, that somebody told you, where there's fear, there's courage. Mm-hmm. And that courageous part, that's where adventure and experiencing something, that's really being there for it and not being ruled by it or letting it alter who you are.
Yeah.
It's being there as you and being present.
Yeah.
When you see his name pop up on your phone, it's possible, and I don't know, we'll see how this tracks with you. It's possible that you just go, hey man, what's up?
Mm-hmm.
That's being present, fully present. I know me. I don't know what he's going to say or what he's going to ask, but I know me, so I'm cool.
Yeah.
And maybe if we need some training wheels, if we need a little safety net for ourselves, we can use a phrase like, oh, yeah, I don't know. Let me think about that and I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
We don't have to know right away and be prepared for everything right away. He's not a bear that's going to attack us.
Right.
We treat him as one.
Well, and he almost doesn't even feel like a real brother. Obviously, you go back and forth on, he's family and blood. So obviously there's that connection. But to the snapshot point, it's like, I have no idea who he is. I don't know him.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I think so.
What's the hesitation, or do you know why I even asked that?
I don't know why you ask it. The hesitation, though, is snapshots. Definitely snapshots. And I hope and I pray that he is a little bit different than he was. There's no prerequisite. Like, I'm not going into, this is how you are. This is who you've always been. But I also want to give myself the ability to accept him for who he is.
And I'll throw this out, and here's where my question had come from. If I don't name him, then I don't have to know the snapshot now. Then it's okay. Because he's always going to be the snapshot from back then.
Right.
Or he's going to be this ideal of what a brother is to me, as opposed to seeing what the snapshot is now and going, okay, that's my brother. I may or may not want to have a connected relationship with him. He will always be my blood, always be my brother. If I don't name him, I don't have to find out any of that. I don't have to be disappointed by any of that. I don't have to be hurt by any of that. So if I don't name him, I'm not going to have that shudder response or reaction every time I see his name pop up. But we don't know him now. And regardless of that, what we're trying to come to is when you know you, can't shake you.
Yeah. The other thing that I'm realizing now is I do this across the board. Like, I'll look at people calling me all the time and not answer. All the time. And it's not because I'm busy or it's just because I don't want to. And I think that comes from something else. Because like at any point, like to your point, like once I know myself and I pick up that phone, it doesn't matter who they are or what they're saying. And I don't have to be prepared. I don't have to answer everything exactly correctly right then and there.
Right.
But I've always felt that way. And so any phone call at any point, I'm like, I'll call you back.
Your eyes are bugging out. Any phone call at any point has the possibility of being anything from, hey, we need to talk.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm short on rent, $250. Hey, your mom OD'd again. So at any moment, you're in that hyper alert, hyper vigilant. I could be attacked. Some shit can go down. So I'm not going to pick up the phone.
Which is crazy.
Crazy in what way?
I'll say it better. It's not how I want to live my life.
There you go. It's not crazy because it makes sense.
Right.
You are protecting yourself from threats.
Yeah.
But the threats are perceived threats.
Right. They're not real.
And they're historic. You have a hard time saying no to people, right? And I need to do for them and of service to them and all that. It's wearing the cape, right?
Yeah.
It's being Superman everywhere I go. Fuck, but I'll burn out. And I know. So I won't pick up my phone because if they ask for something, I have to give it or I'm not okay because they're not okay. Wait a second. Yeah, that protective mechanism. I don't know what they're going to ask me. I don't know what's going to happen. I can see you smiling. Just because we're having this talk doesn't mean you're going to be cool every time you see somebody's name pop up on your phone.
Right.
It's going to take a while. It's going to take experiencing a couple of things. Knowing myself, knowing my boundaries, being able to say no and have that be okay, have them be disappointed or in crisis and not do anything about it.
Yeah.
Whether I can't or I choose not to, just okay.
I'm here in a couple different places in life. I think the biggest one right now is this work, this project thing that's going on because I'm so excited about it. I want to do it so bad, but it's getting to the point where it's just too much. And now I'm kind of realizing that I'm not in over my head by any means, but it's just not necessarily what I want to do.
Now you're able to take a breath and go, wait a second. What do I want? How do I want to do it? And you'll adjust. And a lot of this stuff, we scratched it a lot today, so we'll go deeper with some of this stuff. I think for right now, just kind of compartmentalizing a little bit, what you need to do. I've got the work stuff. Let me focus on the project. What's right in front of me? How do I want to approach that and deal with that? My brother, how do I want to deal with the wedding coming up or being an usher, talking to him or not right now? Okay, got that. The other stuff that we're talking about, like in general, I got you. We got that. Yeah. Do some of that in here. When you get out of here, you're going to be like, okay, what do I need to do today? Fine. Practice being present. It's like seeing the forest for the trees. Yeah. Okay, but you go back out there. There's trees right in front of you. You've got to deal with some of those trees. We can see the whole forest. We can make it make sense. We can even deal with some of the trees sometimes too. I
like that a lot. Yeah. Seeing the forest through the trees.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Because there's still ones right in front of you. Yeah. Because I've been doing a little bit of everything.
It's overwhelming. It's too much.
Yeah. And nothing ever gets done. It just doesn't get done.
No, we bounce from one to the other. It's like, let me take my axe and chop this tree a little bit. Let me go chop this tree a little bit. There's a boulder. Let me try to move that over a little bit. Okay, let me go back to this first tree. Make no progress and it feels horrible.
Right.
Give yourself a break. This is all kind of new. Yeah, maybe I do need some support. Maybe I do need, okay. Mm-hmm. And right now I need to get this done. That's where you're at right now. Mm-hmm. Be where you're at.
Yeah. I think I'm getting better at being where I'm at, which feels good.
Good.
It feels really good.
And we are back.
It's been so long.
Actually, it wasn't that long. There were some significant identifying cuts from this session, so it was a shorter session.
Yeah. Well, it was chock full of stuff. He just starts out right away. So I have a new mentality. I'm like, do you though? Okay.
Right.
So amazing. Instead of telling people what they want to hear, I'm going to tell them what I want to say. I was like, good for you, buddy. That is awesome.
Love that.
And no longer do certain things or hide certain things for people. Going to feel what he wants to feel and just basically be him.
Right. And maybe listeners will recognize that the progress in this and the growth in him and the shift, it wasn't just, he just came to this realization now. Like we've been talking about an idea that he loves, that he references still to this day about allowing people to be disappointed and having their disappointment be okay. And that's something where saying what you actually want instead of telling them what they want to hear because you're worried about them being disappointed.
Right.
Once you're okay with them being disappointed, like, oh, that's okay, frees you up. And he's actually starting to do it now and doing it more and more, which is so cool.
Super cool. And just, you guys talked about like, it's going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. Just as a mantra. So you guys talked about adventure. Mm-hmm. And for him, he was like, yeah, in my mind, like adventure used to be up till 5 a.m. And he's like, now I want to have adventure, but go to bed by 11 p.m. So you talked about adventure being present in the experience and allowing the experience, allowing it instead of trying to get to the end, right?
Which is, we were talking about that last week too, with the adventure versus challenge mentality, right?
Right.
And he's trying that out. He's just thinking about what that is. Yeah.
And then he said he's just trying to enjoy the journey again. At some point you said you can even have a boring adventure. And I thought to myself, like, can you? I really had to think about that. And I suppose, yes. Actually, I forgot I was going to look up adventure in the dictionary, but I guess so.
Well, that's my point was the adventure mentality isn't necessarily like sitting in a boring class and the class is now an adventure.
Right.
It's being present for the thing rather than just seeing if you can just endure it and get through it.
Right. I got a little confused. Okay. So Drew's telling the story about the camping guys, right? And he says the guy brought all the stuff he needed and it was a whistle. And then he was like, there's the guy with the whistle or the guy hunting the bear. And I was like, what are we talking about here? What is the guy who brings the whistle like a badass and all he needs is a whistle? Or is he just like dumb?
Right. Of course, you're going to get caught on that part of it. And if we gloss over that part, which will drive you crazy, but he was reading a book and there was something about camping in the book.
Right.
And about like being prepared and are they prepared? And all they brought was a whistle in case there was a bear. So, okay, if there's trouble, we'll blow the whistle.
Okay.
That's all that was in the story. But for him, for Drew, he heard that and he was thinking about what we talk about in terms of being the Green Beret that can kill a bear with a blade of grass, or being the gearhead that's going to have all the gear. And then maybe on the spectrum, it's deciding what's actually the right gear to bring, moderately, and just bring that, right?
So where was he? Blade of grass? Does it go blade of grass, whistle, and then bare hands? Or where's the whistle go in there?
I don't know that I could lay out the specifics of every little point along the spectrum.
Okay, fine.
But I could tell you that his way of thinking is, okay, there's a spectrum of being cool and knowing that I am prepared by virtue of who and how I am, and being prepared by virtue of having all the right gear, setting up, knowing every situation, taking myself through everything. And he's just kind of calibrating and feeling it out. So when he reads a story and somebody just brings a whistle, he laughs, because that's, maybe they're not quite as Green Beret about it, and they probably should have brought more than a whistle, but he's thinking this way, which is great.
Blow the whistle. Ooh, ooh. What's the song? Blow the whistle. Ooh, ooh.
You got me there.
Fine. Just, bringing it full circle. You guys, we'll talk. You heard this in the episode towards the end, but I see the trees, not the forest. Okay. So when I want to understand the details, I want to understand the details because I want to see the little needles and all the bark and all that stuff.
That's why I'm here, to help you pan out and see the whole forest for a second.
Thank you.
Or just the beauty of the full tree, not the pine needles, because needles can be scary and poke you and hurt you.
They sure can. Okay. Next thing, out of the blue.
Yep.
Just drops the bomb.
Out of the blue, just dropped it. I knew you'd have that reaction, because it really did. Just like, oh, by the way.
He's just like, oh, by the way, my brother asked me to be in the wedding.
Yep.
The best part of the whole thing, I literally listened to it like 5 times. So brother asked him to be an usher in the wedding. You guys talk about it and, go through all this stuff and all this. And then he's like, I have no idea what a fucking usher is.
I knew you would love that.
Dying.
I knew you would love that.
I was like, you and me both, dude, because the whole time I'm thinking to myself, like, you're going to be in the wedding, which, I mean, for all intents and purposes, he is. But then I was like, and you're like, well, you know what an usher is, right? And then he's like, yeah. You're like someone who seats people. I mean, the whole thing was so funny. He knew he wasn't going to be standing up there, which was all that really mattered, that he was going to be in it, but not in it.
Exactly. And it was, yeah. I was like, you have to stand there with the trumpet, blow it, and announce everybody that walks in.
Oh my God. You should have told him that. Had him all freaked out. And then, so then he goes through the whole thing. Oh yeah, my brother called me. You're like, he called you?
Right.
He's like, yeah. I mean, I didn't answer.
Right.
And I loved how, I mean, I can so relate. I do not like talking on the phone. I don't know about you. I talk all day. I just prefer to text. Certain people, I can talk to my sister, like, because we literally talk about nothing and it makes no difference, but it's an effort. And so I get it. He sees the phone ring and is like, oh, it's my brother calling, and just didn't feel like answering. And he just says it.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we'll go into avoiding a call because there's something that we need to talk about, right?
Right.
And that's something that I think we hit it a little later.
Oh, yeah.
That there is a feeling that he and his brother have something unresolved.
Right.
So whenever he sees that his brother's calling, he's thinking, I have to have that conversation. I'm not ready to have that conversation.
Yeah, you guys talked about that.
He doesn't think, oh, it's just a phone call like your sister calling you. Like we could just chat for a minute and be like, yo, what's up, man? Oh, yeah, usher at the wedding. Yeah, cool, no problem. Yeah, how's the weather there? Oh, great. I have this big thing looming and this unresolved thing that comes up every time, and I need to address it. That's why I think we have that avoidance of a phone call.
Yeah. And you talked about the big Drew versus little Drew piece of it. Like, is it little Drew has to have that conversation, and big Drew probably doesn't?
Right. Yeah. Big Drew's fine not having it right now.
Yeah.
Little Drew's like the one that's still hurt, the one that's still feeling that's unresolved.
Right.
So avoiding a phone call, you got to think about, well, what is it that you're avoiding? Because you can always get on the phone, and if somebody starts talking about something, you can just go, hey, I'm not really in a place where I can get into that right now. But it's that anticipation of it and the anxiety of it. That's what creates the anxiety, is we think that there's something there that we're afraid of that isn't actually there.
Or someone's just boring or annoying and you don't want to talk to them. There's that too. I mean, nobody in my life, of course. I'm not talking about anybody.
No, yours is too exciting.
Of course.
Yeah, that's true. Although he does not see the names pop up on his phone, which I think you are going to jump at. I'm feeling you would be all over this part.
Well, my favorite thing that he said, my favorite line that I've circled and like highlighted was,
oh, I know this one.
You got to get close to getting my phone. And I was like, yeah,
yep,
boy.
Yep. I knew you'd love that.
Love it.
And what he was saying in the session was he doesn't have people's names in his phone. He might have numbers saved in his phone, but he doesn't put their names on it. And he was saying like his brother calling him, he sees his brother's number. He doesn't see his brother's name.
So he has everyone's number memorized?
He has some numbers memorized, but he can recognize what the number is. So he'll see the number and he'll just recognize who it is, but he doesn't put a name to it. And that's, like I said, something that we cut out of here because I pointed that out. It really did pique my curiosity. Like, oh, that's interesting. What do you think that's about?
Right.
And that sort of goes to, if I see a number pop up on my phone, I'm not going to have I have to have this deep conversation with that number.
Yeah.
Even though the association might still be his brother, or if this person in my life, if I let them in and I'm vulnerable, then they hold this special place, but I can be hurt. But if they're just a number and not a name, like his girlfriend that he broke up with, if it's just a number, and I think he even said he had a girlfriend saved in his phone as a boy's name, put it in as like George or something like that.
Amazing.
That was one of his girlfriends that he went out with was just George in his phone.
I'm going to start doing that shit.
Well, and that's like, I mean, I don't know if it's CIA stuff anymore. I think it's every teenager is like, Domino's is calling me. Like, that's not Domino's. That's like, your drug dealer.
Your weed dealer, I was just going to say. And the amazing part, I thought, was as you guys are talking, he has this epiphany or this realization that he did that to his mom way back when she was in a bad place. Yep. And I mean, he just changed it from mom to her actual name. But it was interesting that he just realized that when you guys were talking about it.
And that's exactly what we're talking about, is giving yourself a little distance and a little safety.
Right.
It's similar to why clients will sometimes say to me, oh yeah, I blocked their phone number. Like, interesting. So you're not really over it. You're just protecting yourself.
Totally.
Right.
That's fun. Which is fun. So,
that it's a defense. We need that sometimes for sure.
Absolutely. Or we need it so that we don't reach out.
Exactly. It can help for sure. I kind of look at, well, can we get to what's underlying and what makes it difficult? Clients that hate social media so much that they will sometimes delete Instagram from their phones.
Yeah.
Okay, but why not just go on mute for a while? Like just not use it. Well, I can't. Like, okay, well, let's get to what that is. Rather than just deleting it, because it's still, the issue's still there. It's sort of like in the world you often work in with addiction, if you just kind of take alcohol away, like go, I'm just not going to go into a bar anymore. Okay, but alcohol is there, and the reason why you'd go to alcohol might still be there. And
so you deal with the reason of why you drink alcohol, and that's the underlying reason, and you deal with it. And also, I'm still not going to go into a bar because I still have those temptations.
Yeah, it's easier to deal with why you're drinking when you're not going into bars. Right? Absolutely. But thinking that you can just not go into bars and you're fine, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. If I have a client that's had a breakup and is just like, has such a hard time not looking at their ex on social media, then by all means, fucking delete it. We both know why you have a hard time. I don't know, because he's dating someone else and you're fucking hurt and you hate it. And so, let's not look at it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on the situation, but yeah. I loved how he said, well, this guy once told me where there's fear, there's courage. Look at that.
It's funny how clearly with Drew, you guys can all hear it, that there are some things that I'll say to him that he'll kind of quote back. Right. And sometimes I'm fairly quotable. Sure. But sometimes as therapists, we don't realize what it is our clients are going to latch onto or what will stick out for them.
Yeah.
I've had clients that come back to me a week or several weeks later and go, yeah, it really struck when you said this. And I go, whoa, I did?
Right.
Okay.
You're like, damn, I'm good.
It's weird. Damn, I'm good. What did I do?
The other funny couple of things were when you talked to him about growth and independence and said, remember what you said to your dad? And he was like, no. And then you're like, you remember what you said about that? And he's like, no. But as soon as you reminded him, he's like, oh, yeah. And just the whole thing about starting to become independent, and initially called his dad, asked him for support. And by that, he meant be a partner. And he didn't need it. I felt like the analogy that is Doug, the bike with the training wheels, so good. Yeah. Like you look back to see where your dad is, and like maybe you fall, maybe you don't.
Yeah, and it's really cool because he's getting to feel this growth and getting to kind of act on it. And what's super meta for a second, if we can pull back and see the whole forest for a second here.
No way.
Where he and I are in real time in our actual therapy right now, not in these recordings that you're hearing. We just referenced this episode.
Really?
Yeah, because there was something about how he said in this one, I'm glad that I have their financial support, but what I really need right now is emotional support.
Yep.
And we just referenced that. So in the same way that in this episode, this is like super meta. This is like meta.
Yeah.
For me, not for you guys yet.
Yeah,
but if you stick around and hear Drew in a year from now, it'll be super meta for you. Right? But, me saying, do you remember what you said about, originally wanting to go into partnership with your dad and all that? And you go, oh yeah. So in real time now I go, hey, remember that when you were just doing this and going to this and the wedding was about to happen? He goes, oh my gosh, yes. And he'll remember it or he won't.
That's
and
so
I'll remind him.
Right.
And it's such an incredible marker of his growth now. You're hearing, all of you listeners are hearing his growth over several weeks or the first few months.
Right.
But stick that out another 6 months or a year and the growth is incredible. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. I mean, and that was that whole part that he was talking about how his safety net is shifting. And initially it was this financial piece with his parents. And then now he's finding it to be like emotional safety net. And he kept sort of talking about how he needs a team. He was referencing like work a lot. And I felt like a big part of it was like he needs to not just be alone working. I don't know if he was referencing work or just like a team in life or both.
A little bit of both, but he needs he really does want that support that's got his back, especially because what he's been talking about work-wise is going out on his own and doing some design stuff on his own.
Right.
And it's having a team of people that are supportive, that do believe in him, that would help him out with that. That's what he's looking for, and he's looking for that in life too. And he's sort of between dating people right now because you heard his ex, who he didn't feel really had his back and supported him. I mean, there was something about how secretive she is about them even dating, right?
Right.
So he's really kind of coming around to who he does want in his life and how he wants them in his life.
Yep. Something you said was, he's shifting from dependent to independent and can have some financial interdependence, like if his parents want to help out sometimes or whatever, which I liked. I liked that little ditty.
Done that with a lot of clients where they really want their independence from parents. And I kind of work on interdependence with them because they'll go, no, I don't want any money from my parents. I want to do it all myself, but they can't afford to, not yet. But they can work some parameters and they can have some boundaries around that and not feel so beholden to parents, but still be appreciative and grateful for the support while they're building their own.
Right.
It's crazy because a year from now, when like some of his designs just like blew up, I mean, the guy makes like 7 figures now. It's ridiculous. And he does not need his parents. I'm just messing with you.
I was like, what? But yeah, the other thing I thought was really funny is how every blue moon you guys would talk about something and then he'd be like, well, throw back to the wedding or getting back to the wedding or bringing this back around to the wedding.
Right.
And what he did with the whole safety net thing when he said his brother, that I think he was saying as soon as his brother asked him, then he realized, okay, so I won't be sitting with my parents, which for him was sort of a step towards that independence of like, I'm not going to be sitting with them. I'm going to be over there doing that. Right. So I can't depend on them during this. That is about when he said, I don't even know what an usher is.
Yeah. What's interesting, I think because of the identifiers, we cut it out, but there was one moment in here that I thought was really cool where we both had a perspective we hadn't had before. And it reminded me of something when you heard us talking about the incident between the two brothers where we were like, oh, they were only kids at the time, right?
Yeah.
When his brother said, I'm not talking. So what we brought up in this episode or in this session that got cut was we have no idea if your brother was hearing it from mom or dad about you need to have Drew be a part of your wedding. You need him to be in the wedding.
Good point.
Right? Yeah.
Why'd you cut that? That's very important.
Yeah, but around it, we were using too many identifiers, so we couldn't. So I knew I would say telling us now. Here. Oh yeah, absolutely. I would not hide anything from you guys.
Thank you.
I would if it was to protect Drew's identity or things about him.
Whatever.
But substantive stuff, and that was one thing that I made a note, like I wanted to hit that as we were talking about being an usher and being back in the wedding, that we don't know. We have no idea. You know, we only hear Drew's perspective of his relationship with brother. We have no idea if brother is like tormented by his mom and dad going, how come Drew isn't here at the wedding? How come he's not more in your life? You need to do more for your brother, right?
Right.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah. And then I think towards the end, he, you know, you guys talked about talking to his brother and like, do you want to get to know your brother? He's like, yeah, I think so. Right. And he was just kind of like, he referenced once again from back in the day, the moving Polaroid or moving snapshot or whatever.
Snapshots. Yeah.
And, you know, was like, I don't know, but I think so. Like, we'll see. Right. What if he's a douchebag? Who knows? Right.
And that's, you know, it's interesting that as we were talking about, you and I talking about seeing his brother's number, not his name, pop up on his phone, the little Drew in him is thinking, I need to have this conversation with him. I need to do this thing with him. Drew is holding a snapshot of his brother as a kid. You know, he's holding an old snapshot. We don't know what the snapshot of him now is. And that's and we were saying it, we've said it before, like he might be a douchebag. He might be like, I mean, he's a military guy and he might be very rigid. He might be like totally loose. We have no idea, but he's certainly not the snapshot that he was at, 14, 15 years old.
Right. Just by the nature of him aging.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I'm so excited. I mean, when is this damn wedding?
It's just a few weeks. It's coming up. I mean, it's interesting that we're almost where we are in real time right now with it being Thanksgiving is almost where it was back then. So it's almost a full year ago. Yeah. It's wild.
Damn.
That's Thanksgiving 2019. We're Thanksgiving 2020.
That's bizarre. And also, are we maybe back in lockdown? Just saying. Are you watching the news out here?
I'm in my bubble in the mountains.
Enjoy your bubble, dude, because some of us might not be able to get toilet paper again. Just saying.
You know what's messed up is so where I'm staying in the mountains, the mailbox for where I am is down the road, and there's a cluster of mailboxes. So there's nowhere to leave a package. So I actually recently ordered some toilet paper from Amazon, and it was left there, as were several other things, different points.
And a bear ate the toilet paper?
Close. The wind blew it like down the mountain. I had to go like hike down to get my box of toilet paper and bring it back up. And there's been a couple other things that have gone missing. So now they hold it for me at the post office. So I have to go into town. Got to feel like
you have to get on your horse and go ride to the post office.
That's right.
Amazing.
That's right. I'll get on Beckett and let him bring me into town.
Oh, Beckett.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to hear what comes next. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's all the ramp up for the wedding, and it's just unbelievable that he misses the flight. And it's crazy.
Shut up. You keep saying that. It's not funny.
I'm going to go from like spoilers to like fake spoilers all the time. I'm just going to drop them in.
Oh my God. And we won't know what's accurate and what's not, you guys.
No, I won't do that.
Maybe he does miss the flight.
I won't do that. No.
Okay, fine.
But the bridesmaid that he comes home with.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
It's nonstop good times over here, you guys. I'll tell you that much.
That's right. A lot of good stuff coming up. Stick around for it. We hope you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving wherever you are, if you're locked down or if you're locked up, locked down.
Either way, getting down, getting up, or and if you want to, do your 5 grateful, 5 hateful, because it's okay to do that.
That's right. It's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to be okay.
And we're all okay. Okay? Okay.
And we will catch you next week.
Bye.
Bye.